been a while. We're still alive. Well, at this point, barely. But it's that time, once again, dear watchers and listeners, for our end of the con review on our way down the road and dealing with shit, what did I do this weekend? The Frolicon edition.
Woo!
Yes, it's 2014. It is Easter. And that means it is time for all the kinky people to come out and play for Frolicon.
And play and play and play.
And then wake up in the morning and going, what the fuck did I do that for? It was a good one. Seemed a little short. But that's just the way I feel right now. We got down there, of course, on a Wednesday again.
Thursday.
Thank you. That's right. Thursday, because the bunny had to get to work.
Yay.
Because Bunny has been promoted to the official assistant to the director of Native Guides.
I don't know if it's official yet.
It's official.
Yeah. Well, I was in charge all day Thursday, so.
It was official.
Anyway.
Yes. I think we ended up doing like 3 classes a day. Missed 1 class because I got to play with some people. Spent a little bit too much on toys. But back to classes. We did it the Dr. Clockwork panel again, but that's because that's fun and watching people get shocked with the violent one is fun to see that do. And then we saw a sensation play panel, which was rather interesting, and all the interesting little all the different tools you can use for the different sensations, and the idea of actually engaging all the senses. We have 5, and in a scene actually using, I think the most interesting one was she was talking about she had a sub that wanted nothing to do with medical play. And just as a mind fuck, ended up was it opening a bottle of alcohol next to her head?
Mm-hmm. And playing hospital sounds.
Yeah. And before she
didn't even touch her. Yeah,
before she even touched her, she was freaking out because it messed with her senses. It's a really interesting idea of engaging everything in a play scene, which it could involve everything from violent wands to pot scrubbers and clothesline clips and stuff. That was an interesting idea of seeing. Poly class that was rather interesting. It was called having your cake and eating it too. I think that's been I know Gimpy said he didn't really learn anything, but it was an entertaining one, and I think, well, no, I think I learned a little bit, because breaking it down to basically, when you write a report, they tell you to ask the 5 W's, or the who, the who, the how, the what, the when, the where, the who, and the how. And breaking those down, when dealing with couples, and and the such, and the branches off, was interesting. What else did we go see?
You went to the Sharp Dressed Man.
Oh yes, Lefty LeBlue, who was one of the frontmen for Big Mama's Burlesque, did a great. Basically, it was called Sharp Dressed Man. It was a panel on suits and the such, what to wear, for body type, what to look for, you know, the importance of a good tailor, shoes, ties, all this kind of interesting stuff that we don't, you know, most guys don't really, you know, they're trying to find, but you don't have to look up because the suit has fell out of fashion so long ago. Basically the 60s and the hippies and the fighting against the went to an electrified whip 1-2.
Yeah.
That was actually what I was a little worried about. I thought that the instructor was just really, you know, really leather daddy, and I mean that in the fact that he was old school leather. You know.
But once he got the class started and his slave started giggling at when the electrodes were touching her, yeah, it was a good class.
It was interesting watching the electricity in the eye, using it in a single tail flogger and crop situation. And of course, we had the entertainment of Big Mamas and Effies and
got to see some of Secret City.
Secret City. They had one problem now. This year was a little different for Frolicon because back in October, one of the founders had a stroke. So this left them short-handed in having to deal with stuff, and delegate. And they thought the idea of trying to keep it status quo at least this year until they can get their sea legs and get everything back on track. We did have one problem with scheduling. There was a class we wanted to do called Dating Outside the Bonds, which was set poly groups and dating outside of that. Well, unfortunately, it looked like it was supposed to be at one time. It got moved to a second time than the one was what we were trying to get into, but they didn't. They double booked a room. Is basically what it was. There was a trance going on, a trance dance class going on, and so when all was said and done, they kept the trance class in the room and moved the poly to basically to an hour later, or to an hour and a half later. But unfortunately, that gave us put it in front of at the same time as Effie's Follies, and we didn't want to miss Effie's.
Yeah, no, didn't want to miss Effie's. Miss Classic City Kings because of when they got moved to, but next year, because they're fun. They look like a lot of fun from what we saw last year, and so.
Got to do more karaoke.
Oh yeah.
Karaoke at Frolicon has been very interesting. This is actually something that could go, at least on a Friday night, could have gone well into the wee hours of the morning.
Yeah, but they got cut off at 2, and that's understandable.
Yeah, and it sounds like it's not the con itself not wanting to extend too much past certain hours. That basically
for the security staff and all of that stuff.
Sound tax,
yeah,
and all that wonderful junk.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So overall, I would say this con again. Although we did have interesting. As we're getting ready to depart the hotel,
yes.
waiting for the bellman, and which is always going to be a wait. Again, this is a con thing when you have several hundred people all needing to check out at the same time. So we were going to have to wait, and the bunny had to go take her shift.
Yep, my last shift of the weekend.
All of a sudden, the power goes out.
I was in the elevator when said power went out.
So it was interesting. We actually ended up basically meeting our neighbors. It was it was a room of about 3 people, 2 girls and a guy. They were right across the hall from us. And a 3rd girl from another room that is friends with, they're actually part of their gaggle of people. And we ended up meeting them and hanging out, and sharing food and a little bit of alcohol, and just having almost like a little impromptu party until the power came back on.
I was downstairs explaining to people why the power was out.
Yeah,
which was basically, we have no idea. It's out for the entire block. We'll have it up soon, hopefully.
Yeah, so overall it's just one of those interesting little things you add on. Where were you when the power went out? Type talking. I know they kept dealer's room open later for that reason. What else? We did get some playtime in, just not in the dungeon.
Yeah, not in the dungeon, but...
we decided I was carrying around my Violent Wand on Friday night, so we actually found a nice little area next to a plug and just kind of set it up there.
Yeah, and it was fine. Security stuck their head through, said, "Oh, okay, you're good," and let us at it.
Yeah.
Because, we were out of the walkway. We weren't... Yeah, it worked, and that was so nice. Got to play with our new Violet Wand toy.
Yes, thanks to Dr. Clockwork, we have a new toy, which is basically, I would call it electrified blackjack.
Yeah.
It's about the size of a blackjack, but what it is it's a copper filament rope. It's basically a rope where copper has been woven in with it. And it's very woven very nicely, and it's about with a metal handle.
And as Dr. Clockwork put it, it goes from thud to sting in 0.0 seconds.
And it's nice because it is a toy you can use as just a basic thud toy for spanking or back play. I actually slapped it across her back, and she absolutely loved it. And then there's also the gauntlets.
Yeah, gauntlets with,
basically metal claws coming out of the fingertips.
Much fun. Had him run that over my back right after I took my corset off last night. Oh, yeah, that was nice.
Yeah. All right, well, that's about it. You got anything to add?
Not really.
Yeah, it's kind of warm. We're finally getting some spring down here in the GA. Then I got to roll down the windows. So, with that, another A+ event. Congratulations to Big Mama's Burlesque for winning the party battles.
Yay!
Congratulations to Miss Ditz, Alicia's boss, who won the Moody contest.
Yay!
And we will speak to you later. And with that, I say be good.
Or be good at it.
Bye.
Bye!